In today's episode of the Pathfunk Presents podcast, I got a very interesting guest here with me today. I'm with Jennifer Durishin, and she's heading over from the folks over at Prodigal. And basically, what they do is they turn consumer finance conversations into outcomes. That's what the website says, at least. And today, we want to really deep dive into what the company is all about and how Jennifer is thinking about growth for the company. So, welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning. Thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. Great to be here.
Of course. So maybe give people like a quick overview. What is the company all about?
Yeah, so thanks again. So at Prodigal, we're a B2B SaaS company and we are focused on fintech. And so just a quick background is that when you think about financial services, there's been a lot of innovation when it comes to underwriting of loans. That's getting people acquiring them, but there hasn't been a lot of software innovation when it comes to paying back those loans. So we think about the receivable side or servicing those loans. And so at Prodigal, we're really focused on bringing artificial intelligence to that side of the financial services equation and the lending life cycle. And so we have 3 software products that we're delivering to those buyers.
Very good. Now, what types of organizations would benefit the most? Like maybe tell us a little bit of sort of a sweet spot client working with Prodigal.
Yeah, so our industry focus, our customers are based on what we call consumer finance. The definition of is any sort of household expense you have. So that could be large enterprise banks, companies who do auto financing, good old collection agencies, because they do a lot of collecting on these loans. And then even there's medical. So either healthcare providers or medical bills that people have. Those sorts of businesses are who we serve with our software.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Now, who would you say within those organizations is typically the one that is reaching out? Who's that sort of that champion in those companies that really pushes Prodigal forward?
Yeah, so depending on the size of the organization, obviously some of these organizations are large enterprise, and so it could be like the head of servicing, the head of these call centers, or if it's a collection agency, typically it's like the founder, the CEO, president as well. And so for healthcare, it's VP of revenue cycle. So there's certainly a lot of different titles, but they all do serve the same purpose. And they lead the contact centers. And the one other piece of context I want to give is that this is a very, very highly regulated industry. And so believe it or not, even in 2023, most of the ways that business is conducted is through the phone. And so our software products today are focused on helping the folks in those call centers, those agents, be a lot more efficient and effective. And so that's why our ICP are some of those folks that I mentioned who are in charge of the call center or in charge of those call center agents.
Very good. Now, how do these folks learn about you guys? Like, what's their journey looking like as they sort of, move through the different channels of getting to know you guys? Or in other words, what are the client acquisition channels you guys are leveraging?
Yeah. So again, depending on which of those we're focused on, but we started, our roots were more in the collection side. And so what we found is that thank goodness, because events were back on or started back on. And it was really important for us to be seen, be heard, people recognizing us at these events. And so, especially this year, all marketers are focused on, hey, keep doing what's working. And so events for us are working. They're obviously very targeted events. Our customers are there. They can learn more about us. And then other ways that we're making people, because my goal is to diversify from that, right? We can't scale events. And so what we want to do, and also they're pretty expensive, what we want to do is do more ABM. And so we're now testing into account-based marketing with some of these really targeted accounts in these industry segments.
Very good. Now, what do you think about the website? And if they're going through that journey, you mentioned the events, like what role do you attribute to the website in their journey?
Yeah, so it's funny you mentioned that too, because as I just started here back in August. So actually next week is my 6th month. So hard to believe, time flies when you're having fun. But, I think about the website as one of marketing's most valuable pieces of real estate. And as I think about current experience on our website, I think we have some more opportunity. And so we're actually going through what I'll call a brand refresh on the website, because most of our customers are not technical buyers, they're not software experts. And so how do we appeal to them, simplified messaging, make it more humanizing our technology, talking human to human. And so that's one of the things we're actually doing right now, is refreshing our website. Obviously not a small task, but an important one. And so that's what we're doing to improve that conversion process.
It's interesting because, we had a lot of folks on the show that, actually a lot of marketers are just, 3 months out before a launch or 3 months after a launch of a new or refreshed website. What do you think is most important, going into that process, refreshing the website? What is it that you're focusing on or do you want to achieve with a fresh up?
Yeah, there's three big things. Like I mentioned too, like I want to make sure that, our website, we're simplifying our message. When someone comes to the site, they don't have a lot of context of who we are, what we do, and why they should care. And so how do we first engage them and help them understand those answers to those questions? And then they can learn more. Like, okay, you guys are experts in, financial services companies, right? Because a lot of this debt, believe it or not, is sold off. And so a lot of these players talk to each other, from the big banks to debt buyers and collection agencies and even law firms. And so having that data and having us be that true intelligence layer across can really add a lot of value to all of these customers at each stage of that loan life cycle. Mm-hmm. And so what we're doing is building our artificial intelligence to improve that and get smarter and smarter over time with more data. And so that's really important too, that because a lot of our customers too, they haven't innovated in probably 20 or 30 years. The last time they had a big software innovation was with their dialers. And they're power dialers and they're good. And we're not competing with power dialers. In fact, we integrate with them. But for us, it's like saying, this is what you guys need to do to bring your business to the next level, to make your agents a lot more efficient, a lot more effective, because they're having a hard time finding people to work in these jobs. And they're good jobs, but how do we help make their jobs more efficient? It's very, very compliance heavy. So they have to listen to calls, engage with customers, take notes, make sure they're empathetic. There's a lot of things going on, and our software helps them do all of those things a lot better and easier.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Now, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about your journey as a marketer. We talked a lot about what you guys are doing and who you're serving. Now I'm curious about your journey, right? With all the content out there for marketers, podcasts, blogs, books, courses, peer groups, where do you personally get high quality information for your journey as a marketer with all the noise out there?
Yes, there is a lot of noise, but some of it can be really good noise. And so a couple of things that I've done. So I haven't always been a B2B SaaS marketer in my career. In fact, I spent a lot of my early career in big companies. And so I personally love the pace of SaaS companies, but they're really different. And so a couple of things I've done since I've been in this space now a couple of years is I've kind of curated my own LinkedIn feed to follow other marketers in the space. I'm part of a couple of communities for chief marketing officers on Slack and other communities. And so that's been really important for me as well. And then, podcasts, like I'll take my mental health walks, and I always try to listen to a podcast or two. So those have been really awesome as well.
Gotcha. Very good. I got some rapid fire questions to wrap it up for today, to learn a little bit more about yourself. First thing, what's the last book that you read or the last podcast you listened to?
Yes. So good question. Fiction or nonfiction? Which one do you want?
Last one.
Okay. Well, I'll just say the last one I read was called Deep Work.
Yeah.
I read a lot of fiction to kind of offset things, but it was Deep Work by Cal, I think it's Newton. And I was like, oh yeah, I do a lot of shallow work. I need to do more deep work. So highly recommend. And then I just started reading a book called Pandemic Inc., just about how a lot of people capitalized on that pandemic to make money in the United States. And so very interesting. I'm about 3% of the way in, but that's another good one I recommend everyone should read.
Awesome. Very good. What's the last or the one thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
Growth, revenue. We are venture backed, and so we're trying to grow as quickly as possible. And we know there's a huge pain point for these companies, a huge need, and our current customers love us. So we're looking to upsell those and acquire more customers.
If there would be no boundaries in tech, right? You got a magic wand. What's the one single thing that you would, fix as a marketer for your role?
No boundaries. Oh my gosh. I wish my entire 2023 roadmap was complete. I mean, I always want things to be done faster. That's why I love SaaS, because we move fast anyway. But I am just generally an impatient person. And so I always, I wish that website was done. It's exciting to see it. We're getting close. But yeah, I wish things were done faster, like everyone.
And for the very last question, if today would be your very first day, so if we do a little bit of time travel, right? We go back to the Ohio State University Fisher College of Business, right? So you're heading out of business
Yeah.
school, you're getting into the world of growth and business and marketing. What's the one advice you would give yourself for your journey?
Oh gosh, I would say, well, first of all, go Buckeyes. I'm not, a huge football fan, but that's what still brings in the business. I would say the most important thing, thinking back to those days, because I was not a marketer, I did not get a degree in marketing. In fact, my degree is in finance, but I'd say you have to always be learning, and especially in marketing. If you think you're the expert in something today and you're not constantly feeling out and understanding what's changing and learning and growing, you won't be the expert tomorrow. And so I personally have always been what I call a lifetime learner. And I think that is just so important. And that's one of the reasons I love marketing so much. It's the art and the science, the numbers, empathy. It's everything in one, and it's changing so fast with all the data we have. So personally, love marketing.
Very, very good. Last question. If we wrap it up for today, if people should be forgetting anything that we discussed today, if were getting impatient and jumped quick into the end of the episode, what's the one single thing that people should remember about the company?
About Prodigal, or about me?
About the Prodigal.
About Prodigal is that we are disrupting the lending life cycle, and we have a huge opportunity in front of us. There's 15 trillion of debt, and we are the company who is going to innovate and make this process a lot more efficient and effective. And we started with artificial intelligence before it reached this tipping point, and we're still building and growing. And so we're super excited for what's to come.
Jennifer, thanks a lot for being a guest on Pathmark Presents.
That was fun. Thanks so much.